So we're going to be talking about this story tonight. The documentary is out. It's called The Perfect Neighbor. We're going to go over it. I watched the entire thing, and then I went back and watched some of the court case. Now, I can't sit here and say I watched the entire court case because it was 11 hours long. And every time I tried to watch the entire court case, I fell asleep. So I'm just going to be honest with you. But I am going to give the rundown of what this is about. If you do not know what this story is about, raise your hand in the comments for me. If you have never heard of this story, have no idea what I'm talking about, this story is out of Ocala, Florida. Ocala, Florida. Raise your hand if you are a resident of Florida, because this is a very important case. Because y'all know Florida have those funny laws, baby, where they be allowing people to unalive each other and go free, like the George Zimmerman case, okay? So raise your hand if you are a Florida resident. She said never heard of it. Okay, so Terry never heard of it. Okay, Dimitri never heard of it. Alicia never heard of it. Okay, so raise your hand if you are a Florida resident, because y'all have some funny laws, okay? If you are a Florida resident, just say, yes, I'm a Florida resident and I know all about the Florida laws or something like that. Okay. So Florida has some funny laws, and one of them is stand your ground. Now, I know Texas has stand your ground too, but I think Florida goes to the extreme of protecting their residents that unalive people, and then they get off on the stand your ground. So their stand your ground is not necessarily just in your home like a lot of other states. Their stand your ground is, it don't matter where you at, stand your ground, okay? So Florida have some, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the legal part later. But let me just give you a synopsis of this case for those that have never heard about this wicked case, okay? This is a true real life story that they just created a documentary out of, that was just released a few days ago. Everybody and their mama is trying to watch this documentary. I highly recommend this documentary. I covered the case before a long time ago, but after seeing the documentary, it made me want to come back and do it again, simply because as I covered it long time ago, it did not detail a lot of the torture. I say torture, but the hell that this entire neighborhood went through because of this lady. Okay, the entire neighborhood. Now I'm gonna try not to jack up these names, but I'm probably am gonna jack them up. So I'm gonna say the names maybe one time, the female name, and then I'm gonna call her by her nickname. Okay. So the white lady you see on the screen. All right. First of all, this film, it centers on a real life tragedy that happened in Ocala, Florida, between two individuals. Now, it was actually between more than two individuals, but the two individuals, one is a suspect, which was the shooter. Her name is Susan Lorincz, the white lady on the screen. The other one was the victim. Now, her name was Ajike, but we're going to call her AJ because that is her nickname, AJ. Ajike Owens. She was a 35-year-old Black mother of 4 children, and she was a single parent. Okay. Yep. She have a, kid's father and all, but he did not live in the home with her. So she was raising these kids in a home, a duplex area, right? By herself. Okay. So a single mother of 4. And Susan Lorenz was at the time, 58-year-old. I don't even know if it actually says she was a mother. I don't think she's a mother, but anyway, 58-year-old retired. Actually, she was not retired, just a 58-year-old grumpy ass woman. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. So the documentary, it actually goes into how neighbor conflicts escalated over months through numerous 911 calls, body cam footage, and complaints about children playing near Lorincz property. Okay. So I got to paint a picture for you. And if you've seen the documentary, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So the area in which they lived was like a lot of rental properties, like duplex, apartments. It's just a lot of rentals. Okay. So not no real owners. Okay. They rented out, they leased out their homes to tenants. Okay. So AJ, the black girl, she was a renter, and so was Susan. Susan did not own the place. Now, I need for you for a moment. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up so I can describe this to you before I continue on. So, I want you guys, and I want this live to be interactive. I want you to raise your hand if you lived in an area where, when you was a kid, and y'all played in that area, okay? In that area, whether it was grass or in the street, but you guys played in that area. The kids just owned that area as a play area. Okay, raise your hand if when you were a kid, or even if your children have an area in your neighborhood where they all gather to go play. Do y'all have anything like that in your area where they all gathered to go play? So we did too, where I lived right in front of our house, because we lived in a gated house. Like our house had it wasn't like the gates they have these days. It was the chain fence gate. So the metal gate, you know what I mean? And it surrounded our whole house. So the kids, the neighbors could not come inside our gate. However, right outside in the front where they had it was like a meter box where we sat on the meter box. But right there, that area was like we shared it with our neighbors. So it was partially our neighbor and partially ours. But all the kids in the neighborhood, not just us, they all gathered around that area. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a picture right quick. This is the duplex in which Susan lived. Okay. Now, AJ lived across the street. But do you see this big wide area? Right? It's like a bunch of grass. That is where the kids gathered to play football, tag, just running around, having fun. Okay. Now, mind you, Miss Susan was a renter just like AJ. Majority of the people in that area were renters. Keep that in mind. So the owner of that area owned like 3 different duplexes or something like that. And nobody had a complaint. So with the duplexes, it wasn't just Susan duplex. It was like Susan and like 2 other neighbors. Now, mind you, no other neighbor in that area complained about the kids playing in that big, large area of grass you see here. Okay. Nobody complained about it except for Susan. Susan, now, mind you, if you can see here, there's 4 people. I need to do this on an arrow. Let me do this right quick. I'm gonna do this on an arrow. I need to show you what I'm talking about. Let me bring out my arrow. I love bringing out my arrow. I want y'all to understand how some people can become very territorial, right? And try to take over shit that's not even theirs. That's why they start calling her a Karen in the neighborhood, because this Karen actually thought that she owned some shit. Now, is this it? No, I don't think this is it. Is it gonna let me do the arrow? Yeah. Okay, no, not that one. That's not what I'm trying to show you. All right, so let me grab my arrow right quick. I just want to show you. That's white. Let's change it to red. Oh no, not that. I don't want that one. I want this to be red. All right, let's do the arrow again. Okay, so as you can see, these duplexes, 1, 2, 3, 4 different people. You see the sidewalks? That's a sidewalk. That's a sidewalk. That's a sidewalk. And that's a sidewalk. Now, I've never lived in a duplex before, but I'm assuming it's something like a townhome. You know how townhomes, how you can have it be 2 different spaces, but y'all kind of share the same driveway, and then a patch of grass, and then 2 other people's places. So this is like 4 residents right here. 4 people live here. Well, guess what? The side right here belongs to all 4 of these people. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? However, Susan, right, because she lived right here, she thought all of this was hers. All of this. So she claimed all of this area, right? So this tenant, and this tenant did not mind the children playing over here, right? They didn't give a damn. They lived in their spaces and they understood that they moved in a neighborhood with children. And when you move in a neighborhood with children, children are going to tend to migrate to one particular area to play. That's going to be their spot. I don't know if you guys did that as kids, but we did. We had an area in which we always played kickball. Back in the day, we played kickball. I don't even know if they do that these days, right? Like you literally kick the ball and you run the bases and stuff, right? We played kickball, 1, 2, 3, 4, red light, tag, you're it. Green light, gold light, yellow light, whatever. We played that. Simon said everything right there in that area. That was our area. Okay. She said, Amoira, she lived on the other side behind the trees. Oh, wait a minute. Am I saying it wrong? Am I saying it wrong? So Susan didn't live right here. Hold on. You saying, you know what? You right. I'm sorry because I forgot the cops right here. Susan lived right here, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Susan lived right here. You right because I remember the cops having to go there and then go there to get her ass. So you're absolutely right. My bad. Scratch what I said about Susan living over here. Susan actually lived right here. So Susan thought this was hers. Susan thought that because she rented this person's duplex right here, right, that all of this was hers. She even went as far as putting no trespassing signs out there, saying that they cannot come on her property. But it was not her property. And when I say not her property, I don't mean just because she was renting. It's just that that duplex did not own all of this. Okay. It did not own. It was other people's property that also shared. It was a common area, is what I'm trying to say. Common shared space. She's the only one. Susan was the only one that had a problem with the kids playing. She said they made too much noise. She literally thought kids should be in the neighborhood and don't say shit. Like be quiet, don't talk, don't make a lot of noise, just exist without being heard, okay? She literally thought that shit. She literally thought that kids were supposed to be quiet. She said it often in her calls to the police. They're just making noises. They're just being nuisance. Why can't they just be quiet? Good neighbors, right? And she even went as far as saying, because I'm a perfect neighbor, like who wouldn't want to be my neighbor? She literally said, now she's 58 years old, and the black girl was 38 and had the kids. She literally said, I don't come out, I don't make noises, I just stay to myself in my house. Like, basically, why can't people be like her? Okay. So, anyway, she regularly made 911 calls to the police saying that these kids are on her grass, on her property, and she wanted them removed. She always called, right? Several times, like at least 6 or 7 times. She made calls over a year and a half time span to law enforcement complaining about these children. They have body cam recordings, 911 calls, body cam footage of her playing like she just could not stand the noise. Okay. So the cops that would come out there, they would come so much that they actually remembered her and remembered the kids. Like they're like, God dang, Susan again, her again. So they would go talk to her and be like, ma'am, what's going on? She'll be like, it's just the noise. These kids are on my property. They're leaving their toys on my property. They're just making all this fuss. They're always coming around my window making noises. They're calling me Karens. They're telling me I'm not a good person. And then the cops will go over and talk to the children. And the children will be like, this lady is calling us racial names. She's calling us stupid, dumb, retarded. She would call them the N word and all this stuff or whatever. She would literally talk to these children like as if they were on her level, like they're her age. She would talk to these kids this way. Some of these kids wasn't nothing but like freaking 8, 9, 10, 11. Like they were children. They were literally children. So the cops would come out and be like, well, ma'am, what do you want them to do? Like, they're just kids. You can't stop kids from making noise. Wouldn't you rather them be making noise and playing football or catch than to be out here breaking in cars and robbing? I actually think that was a female cop that said that because they were literally over this lady. They literally was over her and her complaints. Because guess what? They would go to her and hear one story, right? But then they would go over to the kids and hear another story and go over to other neighbors and hear the same story that the kids would be telling. She's always fussing at the kids in the neighborhood. She's always telling us that this is her property and leave her property. She's always telling us that we can't play. She's always fussing at us, yelling at us, cussing at us, calling us names, racial slurs. She just terrorized the children in the neighborhood. Okay. Now, instead of just moving, right? Instead of moving her older ass into a 55 and older community or just out the neighborhood and live in the woods by herself or something, she just kept calling the cops, kept calling the cops, and kept calling the cops, right? And she had gotten to the point where she would tell the cops, yeah, the neighbors, the mom is going to tell you this and the mom is going to tell you that. They're going to say that I'm starting something and I'm just terrorizing the neighborhood. But no, basically, she literally was like, they're not outside policing up their children. Like she felt like the parents should be outside with the children. Now, y'all know back in the day when our parents used to tell us to go outside and play, they weren't out there with us. We was out there with other children. The parents didn't come outside and play with us at all. Baby, you was out there by yourself, sweating and everything, musty and everything. Go back in the house, sweaty or musty or whatever. You was literally by yourself with other kids. Your parents sometimes will look out the window, see if you acting up or see if you, still where you were supposed to be. And then they go back to watching TV or whatever the case may be. Okay. But they wasn't outside playing with us. And she was like, the parents are not attending to these kids, but the kids weren't doing nothing but just playing. Literally, that's all they were doing was playing. It could be daytime, she calling the cops. It could be nighttime, she calling the cops and always complaining about the children. Okay? Now, her complaints did escalate. At first, it was, oh, they're making noises. They're being a nuisance. They're on my property, right? And then it was, oh, the parent threw something at me and hit me with a sign. Because then she escalated from just complaining about the kids. She saw that the police wasn't really doing anything when they came out. So she really wanted something done. So she started even lying, saying, well, the mother hit me with a sign. All the other neighbors like, no, she did not. She did not hit that lady. She tossed the sign on the grass. It did not hit her. She is lying. And Susan was like, yes, she did. She did hit me. Like, basically, are you going to believe her word over mine? Okay. They ended up talking to AJ, the black mother, and saying, hey, if she doesn't want you over there, just don't go over there. She's basically just an old grumpy lady. She doesn't really like the kids being around. And the cops was literally like, AJ, made her ID. They didn't make Susan ID. They didn't make Susan pull out her ID to verify who the hell she was, right? But they made AJ show her ID and prove that she actually lived in the duplex in which she was renting, okay? But did not ID Susan, right? Didn't say nothing to her. She was the so-called complainant in all these 911 calls, right? But she escalated, like I said, and tried to make it seem to the cops that AJ hit her with a sign. Now she wanted some charges. You hear me? She's one of them women that just keep on and keep on and keep on because she wants something done. She don't want just a report written. No, she wants paperwork. She wants stay away orders. She wants documentation. She wants this young mother in trouble. She literally wanted to get this lady in trouble. So she fathomed up a lie and said, see, look, right here. She hit me with this sign, right? Okay. She hit me with this sign when all the other neighbors was like, no, she did not. We were out there. That did not happen. This lady is lying. This lady is mean. She yells at people, kids, instead of coming to get the mother. Now, let me back up a little bit. AJ actually talked to this lady before and said, don't talk to my kids. Don't call them names. Don't say nothing to them. If you have a problem with my kids, you come get me. You talk to me because I am the adult. Don't talk to my kids. And I understand her. It's adult to adult. You have no right as an adult to be cussing out little children. Talk to their parents. Go knock on their parents' door. You understand what I'm saying? Parent to a parent or adult to adult. Because I don't think Miss Susan had any kids, but adult to adult, right? She had a cat. So I guess if you want to call her a cat mom, she had a cat. But the victim, AJ, said, talk to me. Don't talk to my children. And other parents said the same thing. Don't say nothing to my kids. You talk to me. Okay. So here she go again, calling 911, calling 911, calling 911. And she's like, oh, the kids are calling me Karen. The kids are saying that I'm useless. I'm nothing. I'm gonna die old. No one loves me. She was literally letting that shit get to her. She let kids saying, you're gonna die an old woman. And that's if they said it. Because it never in the documentary, she never proved that these kids actually said that. Now they were calling her Karen, right? They did call her Karen. But as far as saying you're gonna die an old woman and this, that, and the other, she never proved that they said it. And even if they did say it, it's from children. It's from children, but it bothered her. It got up under her skin. She wanted something done. Okay. So what did she do? She kept on making a paper trail by calling 911, complaining, but then it escalated. She started saying things like, I'm in fear of my life. I am in fear of my life. This lady has threatened me. She said that she's going to do this to me. She said she's going to do that to me. Where all the other neighbors, the cop will come out again. All the other neighbors say, we never heard her say that. This lady is delusional. This lady is, making up lies or whatever the case may be. Okay. But again, making paper trail. She kept calling the police. Every time the police would come out, it would be the same old thing, but nobody would go to jail. And nobody could keep the kids off of this area. The kids kept migrating back to the area. Why? Well, because they're children and because all they wanted to do was play. They wanted to play. Okay? She didn't like that. She didn't like it at all. She wanted a peaceful, quiet neighborhood. Why? Because she didn't have no kids. And she worked from home as an insurance adjuster. And so she's like, I can't even think in peace. I'm trying to work and all this noise outside my window. And let me tell you something else she used to do. She used to take her truck and block off the area of her door and this lawn right here. You see? She used to take her truck and drive her truck and park it right there, right? So the kids, she said it blocked the noise and the kids couldn't, disturb her or something like that, right? So she called the police one time and said, the little boy is trying to put his dog in the back bed of my truck. Again, none of the kids nor parents collaborated any of her bullshit, any of her complaints. They all kept saying this lady is delusional. This dog is like a heavy dog. You can't pick this dog up and put it in the bed of the truck. This lady is just making up stuff. But when she had a truck parked there to separate the grass area and her door, she would literally set her truck off, right? Like the alarm off on her truck. And so the mother, AJ, called all the kids over there one day and she said, y'all come over here. Y'all come over here for a second. Let me just see something. So she had all the kids come on, and I think it was other neighbors involved as well. They all called the kids over to their area and they literally wanted to see what Susan was going to do. Do you know that while no child was in this area playing, not one, not no kid was in this area. Do you know this lady would literally sit in her home and set off the alarm in her own truck? She literally would purposely do it on her own when no children was even over there. And that showed them that she literally just wanted to pretend that those kids were the problem. Okay. She would set off the alarm and then try to accuse the kids of setting off the alarm on her truck. Okay. And she would even try to call the police and complain about them trying to break in her truck, trying to put their dog in her truck. Just she this lady wanted to do anything she could to get these kids a citation to the mother. Okay, maybe I don't know, to try to get them moved from over there. She literally wanted to form some type of paper trail to get this family in trouble. Okay, but it wasn't just AJ kids that she fussed at. It now, even though AJ was black, she fussed at Latino kids, white kids. She didn't discriminate. She just did not like the noise. She did not like the kids. She just wanted to be in a bubble on her own. See, she moved into a neighborhood where they don't pay much rent, right? Like not Section 8, but like more of a low income area. That's what I'm going to say. But yet she moved into that area and thought that she's supposed to have all the peace that she wants. What she doesn't understand, when you move into these type of neighborhoods, they have children, they have kids. And she just so happened to live in an area where there's a big open area where the kids migrate. She could not stand that. Instead of just opening her window, right, and listen to the kids play for memories, right? Because as she get older, she's gonna miss those sounds. She's gonna miss the sound of kids laughing and running around. You know what I mean? And playing the most, craziest games and saying the most crazy, silliest things, right? Those are things that you want to remember as you start getting older. Kids laughing, kids playing, kids joking on each other, right? Instead of just opening the window and hearing that and saying, this is the sound of peaceful children having fun in a neighborhood, not breaking in cars at night, not talking about robbing no grocery stores, not talking about gang banging, literally riding their bikes, their skates, right? Talking, playing hide and go seek, football. And it was boys and girls, right? All of that. Instead of just saying, this is what it's all about. This is what kids used to do. They used to play outside safely, right? No, she wanted them in the home quiet. She did not want them on her yard. She wanted them so far away from her house. She literally wanted them far away from her neighborhood. She did not like the fact that she, as a white woman, had to live by black people and their children. She didn't like that. Okay. Hence why she used to call them the N word, right? Now, we're going to get into that later, how she said it slipped. Anyway, we're going to get into that later. But let's get back to Miss Susan, right? So, anyway, carrying on. So I hope you guys understand the escalation of calls. You got to keep that in mind because that's what I didn't cover the first time I covered this story. I didn't cover the escalation of calls because I only knew about that one day. I didn't know that this crazy batshit lady used to call the cops all the time with complaints. The cops used to get mad at her and say slick things like, ma'am, don't you rather these kids play? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you acting like that? Like, these kids are kids. Why are you complaining about kids? She ain't complaining about nobody breaking in her house and robbing her, stealing her TV off the wall. She literally complained about the kids making noise and playing on grass that she claimed as her own. Okay, that she claimed as her own. So let's talk about the day of the incident. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over a timeline with you, right? Let's go over. So on January 2021, okay, the neighborhood dispute begins, escalating. Lorincz repeatedly called 911 about the children, including Owens' children, reportedly playing or trespassing near her rental home. She also reported she also reportedly used racial slurs toward the children. So while she was telling on the kids, they were saying she's calling us the N-word. Okay. Between 2021 and 2022, multiple law enforcement respondents responded to the complaints of Miss Susan, all right, about the children and the property boundary issues. The documentary shows how the conflict simmered for over 2 long years. This went on for 2 years. Okay. Now, in the documentary, if you watch it, you understand that it wasn't just between these two. It was Susan and the neighborhood. Okay. It was Susan, all the children, and several of the children parents. So Susan and the neighborhood. Okay. Just AJ just so happened to be a victim in this particular scenario. All right. Well, let me just lead this up while I explain this heifer. Now, fast forward June the 2nd of 2023. This was the day of the fatal shooting. Now, what happened? The little boy mother of AJ. Well, AJ, this black lady, she had a son around 10 years old. He came home and told his mom, Miss Susan threw my iPad, okay? She threw the iPad and hit me. She claimed I left my skates out in the property, okay? And she claimed she almost broke her neck on the damn skates. So she took the skates and she threw them and said, keep your junk or keep your stuff over in your area. So she threw the skates and she hit the little kid, right? And she had his iPad and wouldn't give his iPad back to him. So the little boy did what he was supposed to do. He went and got his mother and said, Mom, she threw some skates and hit me with them, and she kept my iPad. So what does the mom do? The mom, I'm sick of this damn lady. Let me go talk to this adult because she hit my son with skates. And I need you to answer me in the comments. If your child come tell you that another grown-ass neighbor threw some skates at them and it hit them, right? What are you doing as a mom? Are you going over there to talk to her? Are you going over there to talk to her? Yep, she did. Thank you. She even said that. She told the kids, go get your mom. Go get your mom. And she said that in the interrogation. She said that in the interrogation. Go get your mom. So the kids did just that. They went and got their mama. So I'm going to ask you, if your child come to you and say, the batshit crazy Karen that has been terrorizing us for over 2 years now just threw some skates and hit me, right? As a mother, are you going? Okay, y'all say, yes, I'm going right over there. That is what AJ did. That is what AJ did on June the 2nd of 2023. She walks over there with her son, knocks on the door, and say, come on up out of here. We need to talk. My son said you hit him with these skates. Come out of here. I'm sick of you. We need to talk. Okay? Now, Susan didn't open the door, okay? But she called 911. She said, this lady is outside of my door threatening to kill me. She said that she's going to kill me. Now, no one collaborated that. No one heard AJ say those words. The son said she didn't say it. The neighbor said she didn't say it. No one heard AJ say, I'm going to kill you. But Miss Susan reported that to the cops. I'm afraid for my life. Let me get the exact transcript. Give me a second. The exact transcripts of that 911 call. Let's see if I can have it. I know I looked it up. Okay. So the first call, she said, I feel threatened in my own home. I am very scared. Okay. Now, when she said this to the 911 operator, the 911 operator said, get somewhere in your home. Do not open the door. Okay. Don't open the door. Get somewhere safe in your home. Okay. Right? She said, the kids are trespassing, screaming, yelling, and I am in fear of my life. The dispatcher says, stay inside, lock your doors, lock your windows, do not open the door. Okay, that was at 8:54 p.m. Right? This is prior to the shooting. This is at 8:54. Make sure you write that down. At 8:54, she says, I'm afraid for my life. I am in fear for my life. They're yelling. They're screaming. They're banging at my door. I am in fear for my life. The operator, get somewhere safe. Lock your windows. Lock your doors. Stay inside. Okay? What time did I say that was? 8:54. 8:54 p.m. At 8:56, you guys, there was a second call from Susan to 911. How many minutes is that? 8:54 to 8:56. There's another call, right? She says, this lady just tried to break down my door, and I shot through the door. 2 minutes. You're absolutely correct. 2 minutes later, she calls 911 back and says, this lady just tried to break down my door. I shot through the door. Just 2 minutes later, at 9:04, another call went in to 911, and it was from AJ's child. My mother's been shot. My mother has been shot. At 9:04, bystanders and neighbors just start calling in. So now multiple calls coming in. Multiple calls. We heard gunshots. We heard gunshots. Her mom is lying in the grass. Okay? These are recordings that has been released by the sheriff office. Neighbors just calling. There's been a shooting. The mama, she's out there. She's laying in the grass. Come quickly. Okay? 8:54 is when she called and said, I am in fear for my life. I'm in fear for my life. These kids are out here yelling and screaming. They're trespassing in my yard. Okay? 2 minutes later, this lady just tried to break down my door, and I shot through the door. And she didn't just say that, y'all. Let me give you a little bit more context, okay? As she's on the phone with 911, the lady is literally quivering in her voice. I just shot. She said that she was going to kill me, and I'm in fear of my life. I'm in fear of my life. Like, she literally, Miss Susan, put on a theatrical on the phone to the 911 operator. Okay? Now let's go over some things. Now, Miss AJ was knocking at her door. The door never opened. There is no peephole on the door. So when she shot through the door, she didn't know who or where the bullet would have landed. It could have hit the kid. It literally could have been anybody standing out there. Literally. She didn't care. All she heard was banging at her door. Come out this door. I'm sick of you playing these games with my kids. I'm sick of your shit. Whatever AJ was saying, right? As she was knocking on the door, Susan took that as this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity once and for all. I have called the cops multiple times, so they got paper trail that I have said that these kids have been terrorizing me and on my property. And look what I have here. I have the mother of one of these kids at my door. She looked at this as a perfect time. Oh, yes, I'm going to teach her ass not to come on my property. This is my property, okay? Miss Susan door never opened. She never opened the door. She shot one shot, pow. And it hit AJ in her chest area, her upper chest area. One shot, boom. She fell out flat. Fell out flat, right? Did Miss Susan open up the door and try to render any type of aid? No. She goes back there, like I said, call the cops and start her theatrical, like as if she was in the right. She literally thought she was in the right. Okay, so anyway, the cops come out. The kids are flagging them down. Right here, right here, right here. The cops come on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? My mom's been shot. She shot my mom. She shot my mom. The kids are literally, this happened in front of one of her children. Literally in front of her children. The kids are distraught. Please, please, say my mom. Please, please, say my mom. Say it didn't happen. Please, 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 please. They were so hurt. These are children. So hurt. So hurt. Susan never came out the house. She in there, right? Thinking, this is Florida. And Florida has stand your ground. And guess what? She was in my driveway. She knocked on my door. And I told them that I feared for my life. Okay? So then the police go in, they arrest her. They say, come out with your hands on top of your head. Come out. Put your hands up. Put your hands up and come out. Now, mind you, they already sick of her shit. They already know Susan. All the cops have been out there already. Majority of them, okay? They know that she's the lady that forever complained about children and noise, right? And her property line, right? So they arrest her. They take her down to the station and they question her. And in the interrogation room, they asked her questions. She answered, right? And in during the let me back up a little bit. So when you go down to to be questioned, they ask you questions and whatnot, right? They read you your Miranda rights. You have a right to remain silent. So whatever you say will be held against you. So at that point, you could say, I want to talk or I don't want to talk. Literally, I don't, you could literally say, I don't want to say anything, right? So they brought her down, they started talking to her, and she was so comfortable with them because that's what they do. They try to make you feel comfortable so that you could talk. And she did. She talked like they were like her damn homeboys or some shit, right? Yeah, they were just, they were always making the noise. They was just always on my prop. No remorse. No remorse whatsoever. Now, this is the first go round. No remorse. Just like, la-di-dee, la-da-da, right? Yeah, they were always on my property, this, that, and the other. So they was like, but why did you shoot? I feared for my life. She kept saying she feared for her life, right? And there was one guy in there, he pushed back a little bit, like, but she never got through your door. Like, never got through your door. Oh, yes, but I thought that she was going to knock the door down. I thought she was going to come in and kill me. She kept saying that. She kept saying that. I thought she was going to come in and kill me. I thought she was going to come in and kill me, right? I thought basically like she thought her life was over, right? So anyway, they let her go that day. And because they let her go, oh, Miss Susan, Miss Susan thought she was scot-free. Miss Susan thought that she was covered because of the stand your ground. They let her go, right? And Miss Susan went right back over to the same neighborhood that she had just unalived a mother of 4 children, right? And then the cops had to be called because she's like, can y'all come out here? Because these people are yelling this at me, yelling at me, because the neighbors were pissed at her. They were mad at this lady, right? And they were saying things like, yeah, y'all better be out here. They were literally mad. They were mad, okay? So she called for her protection. She wanted to be protected now after unaliving someone. Like, I'm just gonna get some things from the house and I'm gonna leave or whatever, right? So they were like, you need to arrest this lady. Why is this lady not arrested? That's because they had to do their job. They had to do their due diligence. They had to find out this and find out. They had to investigate it, right? They had to find out from the corners what was the cause of death, okay? And then they had to just play back everything. But guess what? Also, they had to do. They had to talk to their legal team in the police department because yes, the police department does have a legal team as well, okay? The prosecution or whatever. They have to go talk to them and say, do we have justifications? Like, this is what happened. They have to turn over their investigation, tell what they found, all everybody's the statements they had to go through and whatnot. So then they call Miss Susan back in again. Now this is the second one. She go back in there all nonchalant, like she just a free ass woman. This lady literally thought she was about to get away with this. She literally thought she had stand your ground under her belt. But let me tell you what she did, y'all. She got caught slipping. She literally looked up stand your ground law and they caught her in it. They said, wait a minute. Did you look up the stand your ground law in your history? First, she tried to kind of lie about it. Then she was like, yeah, I did, but only because I went on Facebook, right? I went on Facebook and saw people accusing me of this and accusing me of that. So then she tried to say, I looked up stand your ground because this lady on Facebook had killed her husband, right? She killed her husband, and I was just trying to find out, was she protected by stand your ground? She was a liar. The lady just started lying. And the cops grew mad because they was catching her in these lies, right? So they were like, that's not why you looked up stand your ground. And then she said, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. What are you trying to say? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Hold on. I know what you're trying to insinuate. No, I did not look up stand your ground to try to justify my actions. That's what she claimed. Knowing good and doggone well, that's exactly what she did. She wanted to see, was she gonna be covered with the stand your ground. They didn't like that. Okay, they didn't like that at all. They're like, oh, so you went and looked up stand your ground, thinking that, oh, you're gonna holler stand your ground to the cops and get away with killing a black woman. Okay, a black single mother. She thought she had it in the bag, y'all. She literally thought she was protected. So anyway, you know how that the investigators, not investigators, interrogators, how they play good cop, bad cop. They played good cop, bad cop on her ass. One guy was like, I can understand what you're talking about. I understand the kids, they were really getting on your nerve. They wouldn't stop playing on your property. I can get it. The noise, the irritation, this, that, and the other, right? And then the bad cop, right? That's the good cop, right? At first one. Then the bad cop, like, look, we know what you did. We're not gonna keep on playing these games with you, right? You need to tell us this, you need to tell us that, right? So they said the first interrogation, she admitted to calling them the N word. Well, niggers, y'all know what I'm talking about. She admitted, but she said it slipped. They asked her, what do you mean it slipped? Like, what type of context would calling kids the N word, what context would it slip? Like, how do you slip saying that? Then this lady had the audacity to say, well, my mom always told me that calling someone the N word, I don't know if she said mother or godmother or some adult in her life told her that calling somebody else the N word is just saying that you're just acting unruly. Like, it wasn't like a derogatory slang word, right? Against black people. No, anybody can be the N word in Miss Susan eyes, right? Miss Susan tried to play it off like, well, I call them that because I was taught that calling someone the N word, you're really just calling them unruly. You know what I'm saying? They just, they're just not following the rules. They're just unruly children or unruly people, right? Non-abiding citizens type shit. So she said calling them the N-word just slipped. It just slipped. That's the first interrogation. The second one, this lady literally came out of her own damn mouth and said, I've never called nobody the N-word a day of my life. Child, when she said, I almost fell out my damn rocker chair. I mean, my recliner chair. She literally said she never called anyone the N-word a day of her life. And then they said, well, you said it slipped the first. I never said that. I never said. This lady's still in jail right now giving interviews saying that she ain't never called these kids the N-word. She's never used racial slurs to these children, even though she admitted. I mean, if I did, it probably just slipped, is what she said on the first one. If I did, it probably just slipped. It probably just slipped. But then the second interrogation, I never called them that. I've never called anyone that word a day of my life. Okay. So they just start catching her in all type of little lies, right? They were like, well, if you was if the dispatcher told you to lock your doors and lock your windows, why did you come back to the door with your weapon? Because I just thought that she was about to break the door down. They said, what was the time span between your first call to the police until you shot? This lady said 10 minutes. The interrogator said, what if I tell you that it was only 2 minutes? She says, no way. No way possible. No, it was much longer than that. No, it was 2 minutes. Literally 2 minutes. Well, it felt like 10. I mean, it felt like a long time. It was just a long time. I mean, it may have only been 2, but it felt like 10. And then she went on as far as saying, well, the last time I called the police, they didn't even show up. Because the cop asked her, why you just didn't wait for the police to come? You just told them, right? You just told them that you needed help because you was in fear of your life, right? That they told you to lock your doors and lock your window. Why you just didn't wait? Well, the last time I called the police, they didn't even show up. They didn't even show up. See, what Miss Susan did, that 8:54 p.m. call that she made to the cops, that was a CYA call. That was a cover your ass call. That was a let them know that I am fear of my life call. Let me cover my ass because I'm about to get this bitch. You hear me? Miss Susan thought that she was about to do this lady in and be done with it. So they said to her in the second interview, I think it was the second, it may have been the first, so I probably got to go back and check my notes. But they told her, this woman you just killed someone. And then Miss Susan, she breaks down like she's depressed. Like now she's sad. Like she care now. Like she's really sad that she just unalived someone that just was knocking on her door, wanting to know why she hit their son with a skate. Just wanting to know. She could not wait till the cops to come because if she would have went when the detectives went in her house after the fact to show her home, this lady had other rooms in her home that she could have barricaded herself behind those doors. She could have went into the bathroom and locked the door. She could have went in any 2 other rooms in her home and locked the door. But she didn't. She got off the phone with the cops. 2 minutes later, she walked back to the beginning, to the front door. There was no back door, right? It's a duplex. She walked to the front door and she fired. Now, mind you, she loaded her weapon. She did all of this. She did all of this, loaded her weapons, went back to the front door. She thought, I got this in the bag. I just called them and told them that I am in fear for my life, baby. I told them that I was in fear for my life. I'm covered, is what she thought. Is what she thought, right? They checked the doors to see, was it off the hinge? Could it have fell? Like she said, I thought she was going to break the door down and come get me. They checked that door. They yanked on the door. They did everything to check the door to see was there any type of way that this mother of four could have entered her home. And it's no way. They said they pushed on the door, they pulled on the knob, they did everything to try to force themselves into the door and could not get in. What does that tell the detectives? That told the detectives that Susan was lying, trying to say that she thought that AJ Owens was going to break her door down. The cops literally said that during their investigation, they pushed on the door, had more than one cop push on the door to see could it fly open? Could her story even be a little bit true? She had deadbolts on the door. The door was tightly secured, right? To where no one could have gotten in that door, right? They could not get in the door. They could not force themselves into that door. But she told 911 that she was in fear of her damn life. That she thought that this black lady right here was going to knock her door down and come get her. In 2 minutes, she took matters into her own hands and pow, one shot right out the door. No peephole, no nothing, just shot. Boom. She could have shot the child. She could have shot anybody that was standing in the way of that bullet. Okay? Literally. So here's the mom laying on the grass. The sheriff tried everything they could to save her, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, Susan never opened the door to come outside to even care. Is she unalived? Do she need CPR? You know, what did I just do? None of that. None of that. She stayed herself locked into her home until the cops came. Cops came knocking, right? So anyway, they tried to save the mother. They did everything they could. So they said, call your dad. And baby, when I tell you, ooh, y'all, if you haven't seen the documentary, that part right there, you're going to cry. I'm letting you know now. My husband was in there with me and I'm like, babe, are you over there crying? He was like, no. I said, shit, I am, right? You're going to cry on this part because the kid's father, they said, get him on the phone. He came over to the phone. He came over to the home. And he said, daddy here, daddy here. Come on, come on. Daddy's here, daddy's here, daddy's here. So daddy started embracing the kids, okay? Embracing the children. The kids are crying, just nonstop, just crying, bawling. It wasn't just the kids crying, it was neighbors crying too. That's how you knew it was a close-knit neighborhood. The kids of the neighborhoods was crying. It was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened to your mom. Like they were literally all banding together and they were literally standing in support of AJ, okay? Wanted her to pull through. So the cops told the dad first. He leaned over to him and said, she didn't make it, okay? Now, I don't know if they said exactly that, but I'm assuming you couldn't hear the cop. But he whispered something to the dad, and the dad just broke down. You could just tell what it was that was just said. He broke down. No, no. Ooh, he was hurt. And the cop said, who's going to tell the kids? Are you going to tell them or you want us to tell them? He said, I'll tell the kids. I'll tell the kids. So guess what? He called the kids over there and he had to tell his four children that their mother was never coming home ever again. Baby. Woo! Woo! Had to tell his four children that mommy is never coming home. All because mommy tried to take up for her son. All because mother did what mother was supposed to do. This lady, right, threw a skate at her son, right? And literally said, go get your mom. I don't care. And now, mind you, in the interrogation, the first time, she literally told them, the detectives, yes, I told them to go get their mother. But the second interrogation, she says, why would this lady come to my home? Why would she come to my house? The cop said, you told the kids to go get their mother. She said, I never told them that. When I tell you that this lady just was lying and lying and lying again to the cops. Lie on top of another lie, on top of another lie, on top of another lie. Okay? Why would this lady come to my house? I never told the kids to go get their mother. Why would she come to my house? Is what Miss Susan wanted to know. Why in the world would AJ come over here? Well, you hit her son with a skate. You hit her son with a skate. And then you took matters in your own hands. Why? Well, because you thought the law was going to save your ass. And she did. Okay? She thought the law was on her side. All right? So listen, when the daddy told the kids literally start blaming themselves. One little boy, I want to say he was either 10 or 11. They had to talk to him at the funeral. I think it was Al Sharpton. He did the eulogy at the funeral, and he had to tell the young fella, "Don't blame yourself. This is not your fault." Right? And the reason why he had to say that, because the kid literally thought it was his fault. He was like, "Damn, if I wouldn't have went and got my mom, if I wouldn't have told my mom about her hitting me, if I wouldn't have left my skate in her yard." You see where I'm going? Where I'm going is the kid blamed himself for his mother's death. He started going down memory lane and saying, if I wouldn't have, but if I wouldn't have, but if I wouldn't have, she would still be alive. They even start going back to, if we wasn't playing in her yard, you know, if we wasn't, if I didn't leave my toys out, if I didn't leave my skates out, if I didn't go get my mother, if I didn't tell, if I didn't do any of this stuff, right? He literally start blaming himself. That kid will need therapy. Why? Because he feels that he is responsible for his mom's death. Why? Because this lady thought that she was going to be able to use the stand your ground law to protect her for a cold-blooded murder, all because she didn't like noise. She didn't like kids. She didn't like living in a neighborhood with Black people. That's it. She thought that she was better than that. She literally said out her own mouth, I stay to myself. I'm quiet. I don't come outside and bother nobody. I am the perfect neighbor. I am the perfect. The reason why the movie is called The Perfect Neighbor, because that shit came from her mouth. She literally said, I am the perfect neighbor. I don't bother no one. Now, let's fast forward. When they got tired of playing with her ass in interrogation, I watched the interrogation, both of them. They literally got tired of playing with this lady, with her excuses on top of excuses on top of excuses. And they told her, we talked to the DA. The DA agrees with our investigation that you took the law into your hands. You called the police at 8:54. 2 minutes later, you couldn't even wait until the cops got there after they told your goofy ass to stay inside your home and lock your doors and lock your windows. Don't open your door. You just told them you was in fear of your life. They were on the way, lady. You took matters into your hands 2 minutes later and you shot through the door. They said, the detectives said, the DA agrees with our investigation that this is a manslaughter charge. Okay? But they said, we're going to book you for manslaughter. We're going to fingerprint you. We're going to take you down to the jail and all of that. But before we do, we want you to write a letter to the children The children that just lost their mother. What would you say to the kids that just lost their mother? Okay? And they said, you don't have to if you don't want to. Only if you want to. Write a note to the kids and tell them what happened. You will never be able to see them face to face. We can't let you talk to them face to face. But what you can do to try to like clear your conscience, clear the air, whatever the case may be, jot down your thoughts to them on a piece of paper. Tell them how you feel about this. Miss Susan grabbed the paper after they left out, and she says, I don't know word from word. I'm going to paraphrase it. Matter of fact, let me look up the exact words. What was the words that Susan wrote to the kids? Hold on. I'm going to paraphrase it, then I'm going to tell you what she said. All right. Let me paraphrase it while it's coming up. She says something to the effect of, I'm sorry for your loss. I thought your mother was going to kill me. I thought she was going to come in here and break down the door and get me. I never wanted to see something like this happen. Literally, like it was like a paragraph. Something to that effect. So let me read the exact words, okay? They, again, the detectives, and when they do this, they literally just trying to see, is this lady have any type of remorse whatsoever? What type of remorse? How do you feel about the kids that you just left momless? They have no more mom. They have no mother. 4 children left without a mom. They literally wanted to see, is she remorseful? Now, detectives know what they're doing. When they have you in an interrogation room, everything that they say to you matters. It matters. They're trying to see your response. So she grabbed the pen and the paper and the pad, and she says, she wrote down, this is it. I am so sorry for your loss. I never meant to kill your mother. I was terrified your mother was going to kill me. Okay? I was afraid, I was terrified that your mother was going to kill me. That's what she wrote on a piece of paper to those children that is left without a mother. She literally shifted all the blame back to AJ, the lady that was just trying to protect her kid that this lady just hit with a skate. AJ was being a mother, confronting the adult neighbor about hitting her child. And this lady took matters into her own hands and unalived her. And the least thing that she can write on the paper was, I am sorry for your loss. I never meant to kill your mother. I was terrified your mother was going to kill me. During the interrogation, she claimed she was saying, I'm going to kill you. She said that AJ was screaming through the door, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Okay? She said there was loud banging and my heart was pounding and I thought she really was going to kill me. Okay? When they asked her about researching the self-defense law, she says, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. And no, that is not true. It's not true what you're thinking. You're thinking, I looked up the law so that I could say that that's what happened. No, that's not true. I would never. She said, oh, this lady said that so many times. I would never do such a thing. I would never do this. I would never do that. Like, this is not me. She even lied. While they came to her door, she lied to them and said she was a doctor, y'all. I was looking everywhere. Is she a PhD doctor? Is she an MD? Why did she say she's a doctor? Yeah, she told the police that she was a doctor. The lady was an insurance agent that worked from home. She wrote policies. She wrote policies. This lady was a liar. This lady was a racist. This lady was a terror. She literally terrorized the children in the neighborhood and thought that stand your ground was going to protect her. Let's go back to the interrogation room, shall we? In the interrogation room, when they came back and they said, "All right, Miss Susan, stand up. It's time to go. We need to go book you for manslaughter." This overly privileged ass murderer said, "I ain't going nowhere. No, I'm not going." They said, "What do you mean you're not going? Stand up now." "I'm not going. Mm-mm. I'm not doing it. No way. I'm not going." They said, "Susan, you're either gonna do this the easy way or the hard way. We need you to stand up. This is gonna happen. You're going to jail." "No, I don't want to go. I'm not going." "Susan, stand up now. We gonna drag your ass all the way down the hall, or you gonna stand up and walk. Which one? It'll be easier for you to walk." "I'm not going. No, just kill me right here. Just kill me right here. This is ridiculous," is what she said. "This is ridiculous. She came to my door. This is ridiculous. I'm not going nowhere." Now, I didn't like that part. Let me tell you why I didn't. Because if it was a black woman or a black man, they would have drugged their asses up out that seat, threw them against the wall, handcuffed them, probably pepper spray, elbows smothered, whatever the case, black eyed, black broken ribs and shit. And they would have drugged them down that damn hall in a straitjacket and off to jail they would have went. But they allowed this damn woman to sit there and toy with them as if she was the victim. "I'm not going. I ain't moving. I'm not going nowhere." They like, "Come on now, Susan. Don't make this difficult. Stand up now. Let's go now. Come on now." They gave her chance after chance after chance. She finally stood up and she walked down that damn hall. Okay? But before, she literally clutched her hands to her chest, almost kind of like in this area right here, like this, and says, "I'm not going. You can kill me right now." That's her way of saying, "I don't belong in prison. I'm not a prisoner. I'm not like prisoners. I had a right. She was on my property. I told you guys I was in fear of my life. Don't Florida have a stand your ground law?" Yeah, so she thought she was going to be protected. Okay. The entire time during trial, and I didn't watch the whole 11 hours, but I did watch a good bit of it before I fell asleep. During the trial, she sat there as she lost weight, as she shriveled up, and she did, right? She sat there the entire time thinking, "Oh, I'm about to get off. I'm going to get off on stand your ground. I was in fear of my life. She was on my property. Her kids I made plenty of complaints, so I have paper trail." She literally thought the entire trial that she was going to get off. When the jury came back with a verdict, she literally rolled her eyes when they found her as guilty of manslaughter. She rolled her eyes like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Like, are you freaking kidding me?" This lady literally thought that she was going to get away with this. And then she put her head down in her hand, and her lawyer, now, maybe this is just something they supposed to do, he starts consoling her, rubbing her on her back. Like, "Oh, like poor Susan." Susan was a terror. She was a neighborhood terror. She called those kids dumb, stupid, retarded, and the N word. Told the detectives, they said I was old. They called me old, said I'm going to die old, that I don't have nobody love me. She literally argued with kids. Y'all remember when I said I refused to go back and forth with certain people because I looked at them as kids? Y'all remember me saying that? I said, I can't go back and forth with this person. They're a damn child. And I would feel retarded going back and forth with a child. Y'all remember me saying that? Yeah. And they were actually adults, but I looked at them as kids because of my age. Susan is older than me. Susan literally had arguments with 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds. She literally had arguments, name calling back and forth. She even tried to hit them swinging an umbrella at one point at them. Line ass interrogation. They asked her about the day of that incident. Like, what did you have the umbrella for? Why was you swinging the umbrella? Oh, I thought it was raining. And I went outside to check to see was it raining. And they just so happened to be around my property. And I just start swinging the umbrella. Just lie after lie after lie. Who thinks it's raining and come outside with a damn umbrella with nowhere to go? Who does that? Who thinks it's raining so you just gonna come outside with your umbrella? You weren't about to leave. You weren't about to move your vehicle. You literally came outside with your umbrella because you thought it was raining. No, you heard those kids outside your window. And guess what? It wasn't even raining. She says, oh, but I thought it was. They said, but on this day, it wasn't no rain. I know, I thought it was raining. She thought it was raining, grabbed her umbrella, and then boom, there go the kids. The lady was caught in so many lies. So many lies, right? So they took her, they fingerprint her all during the court proceedings. She literally thought that she was going to get off. She literally thought that she was going to walk and this black mother was not her killing was not going to receive any justice. That's what she thought. She thought that this black mother was going to be just another black person that bothered a damn racist woman, right? That did not want those black kids nowhere in her yard, right? And she literally thought that her killing was going to go unjustified. She thought she was going to walk out of there. She literally did. So when she did not, and we're going to go over the legal aspect in just a second. When she did not, y'all, she during her sentence when the judge was about to sentence her, you know, the family members, right? They get to come and read their impact statements. Family members, friends, neighbors, whoever, right? They read the impact statements, and then she gets to turn around and read a statement on her own. Now, I'll be remiss if I did not mention the fact that AJ's mom, right, was working as a flight stewardess, you know, flight attendant, living her dream life, traveling the world, having her best life. She went from working as a flight attendant, traveling the world, enjoying her older years, to having to take on the responsibility of 4 small children, 4 underage kids. She literally had to quit her job. She literally had to find other places to work where she can work around her hours, because you can't be a flight attendant trying to take care of 4 kids, because who gonna keep your kids while you gone? She literally became an instant mother all over again, having to take care of 4 children, all because her daughter was murdered by this criminal, by this murderer, right? So her mother gave an impact statement in court. And then right after the mother, they allowed this lady to get up to say her last words before she's sentenced. Okay. This lady literally got up and started reading off all her disabilities. I got a disability in this, and I got a disability in that, and I got this was wrong with me, and that was wrong with me. She literally read off all these ailments at 59 years old, right? I got this wrong with me, and that's wrong with me, and this and this and that, and this and this and this and that. Having no remorse whatsoever. She even tried to replay back on that day, even after she was already found guilty. Now she's trying to convince the judge, because the judge is about to sentence her, okay? She literally went back down memory lane during sentencing and start saying shit like they were terrorizing me, and I would tell them to leave me alone, and they would be playing in my yard and they wouldn't leave me alone, and they would call me an old lady, and they would tell me that I was not going to be anything and I was going to die old, and I had no friends. And she is saying this during the sentence, right before the judge sentenced her. Then she says all of that, which I don't even know why her lawyer even allowed that shit. But nevertheless, right? After all of that, then she goes to read a statement to the family, how she wished that this day never happened, how she wished if she had a choice to do it all over again, she would actually give up her life for AJ life. How she's so distraught for leaving those kids motherless. How she wished that she could just undo all of this. Oh yeah, I bet you she wished that she would have sat her ass in her house, right? I bet you she wished that she would have just listened to the noise of children playing. I bet you she wished she wouldn't have made such a big deal about kids playing on grass, making noises, being children. Oh, I bet you she wished that. I bet you she longed for the sounds of children laughing, playing, screaming, yelling, running. Oh, yeah, yeah. I bet you she wished that. You want to know why? Because she won't hear those sounds no more unless they give her an iPad or she's watching TV. But she won't hear no real sounds like that no more. She was sentenced to 25 years and 9 months in prison. I think 25 and 9. Let me see. I think 25. I know at least 25, but I think 25 and 9 months. But she was sentenced to 25, a minimum of 25 years in prison. All because the jury looked at it exactly the way the detectives looked at it, exactly the way the prosecution looked at it, and exactly the way the judge looked at it. She was found guilty. She took the law in her own hands. She called the police. She screamed, "I'm in fear for my life." She came back to the door with a loaded weapon, and 2 minutes later, pow, pow. She took this mother away from their children. Four children. She took the mother away and literally wrote one sentence, maybe two, on a piece of paper. "I'm sorry this happened to your mom. I thought she was going to kill me." But now she's still doing interviews. And she's still trying to hold on to her false story of, "I never called these kids the N-word. These kids terrorized me. I didn't terrorize them. And I really do believe that this lady was going to kill me." She is still holding on to the bullshit. She is still literally saying that she was in legit fear of her life. Still, meaning that she has not learned from the errors of her ways. Not even though she hasn't been in there long, right? She still has not learned the errors of her ways. She feels that her sentencing was unjust, that she should not be in prison. She feels that the stand your ground law should have been on her side. I did everything I was supposed to do. I called the police umpteen times. I complained about these kids. I complained about this mother. Report after report after report. I told them that I was in fear of my life. She was on my property. Why isn't Florida stand your ground law protecting me? Let's go over it, shall we? Because she wants to know. She wants to know, why is it not protecting her? She don't understand the wrong that she did. Not at all. So let's go over the law. Stand your ground in Florida. I want to say Florida was one of the first states that adopted this, and a lot of people was hating it. Oh my gosh, stand your ground. They was hating it, right? I never even heard of the stand your ground until the Zimmerman case came about. Now they may have had it before then, I'm not sure, but I only heard about it. Well, I first heard about it when the Zimmerman case took place. Okay, I heard about it then. So, what is the stand your ground? Florida stand your ground statute 776.013 says a person who is not engaged in an unlawful activity and who is attacked in any place that they have a right to be, that they have a right to be, has no duty to retreat and have the right to stand their ground and meet force with force, including deadly force, if they reasonably believe such force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily harm. All right? Now, let's go over some legal key points with just that statement. You must be lawfully present at the location, right? Meaning that you can't be there and you're not supposed to be there, right? You must be lawfully present at the location. You must be confronted with an imminent threat of death or serious harm. Your response must be proportionate to the threat, and you cannot intimidate or provoke the confrontation. She thought she had it in the bag. She's like, I'm in my home. Check one, lawfully present. I told them I was in fear of my life. So confront with an imminent threat. Because she said the lady also threatened to kill her. So she's like, yep, she threatened to kill me. That check, that blocked. You must respond. Your response must be proportionate to the threat. Yep, she said she was gonna kill me. So I went and got my weapon. And you can't initiate or provoke the confrontation. So she literally checked off all four of those in her mind and thought, I got this in the bag. Ain't nothing about to happen to me. I'm good. We live in Florida. Okay. Let's continue. So after she shot through the door at AJ, right? She claimed she was banging on my door trying to break in. I feared for my life. What she did there was try to frame herself as the defenseless victim protecting her home, which under the stand your ground law, it would normally justify deadly force if the person genuinely believes someone is forcefully entering to harm them. But here's where Susan got it wrong. This is where she abused the law. She provoked the entire situation. She had a long history of harassing the children and some of the parents by yelling racial slurs at them, throwing objects at them, and calling 911 on repeat, trying to get something done to these children. She forgot about that. That's provoking. Because, see, she thought about just that day, right? You can't think about just that day. Because they're going to pull some receipts on your ass. And that's what they did with Susan. They pulled the receipts. Long history of harassment. 2 years of it. That's long. That is a long time to be harassed by your damn neighbor. That is 2 years in your own neighborhood of being harassed by your neighbor. Probably seems like a lifetime, okay? Another way she provoked it, her calling the 911 on repeat created a pattern of provocation, not self-defense. Under the Florida law, you cannot claim stand your ground if you were the aggressor or if you provoked the violence. She threw a skate at AJ's son. Lady, you hit a child. And even said, go get your mama. Go get your mama. She wasn't scared. She wasn't in fear of her life. You don't hit somebody's child and then say, go get your mama. And when the mama come, now you think you about to die? No, you just called for me. You sent for me. You sent for me when you hit my child, right? That's when you really sent for me, when you threw that skate and hit my child. Okay? You sent for me. Mother answered. Mother would not have went to Susan's house if Susan would not have threw a skate at her son. Okay? And the son probably would not have went and got his mom if Susan wouldn't have said, go get your mama. Go get your mama. Okay? Let's continue. So, under Florida law, you cannot claim stand your ground if you are the provoker, if you are the aggressor. She has provoked this lady and said, go get your mama. There was no imminent threat. Owen never entered Susan's home. The door was locked when Susan fired the gun, which her last name is Lorincz, Susan Lorincz. When she fired the gun, it was still locked. Shooting through a locked door eliminates any reasonable claim of imminent danger. How are you in danger? How was you on one side of your door and this lady, Ajike, is on the other side of your door? What is the danger? I'm letting you know now. If you think you can shoot through a door and get away with it, then you go right ahead, because you're going to end up a Susan. Okay? Don't do it. Do not do it. All right? She shot through a locked door, which eliminate any reasonable claim of imminent danger. Courts look at whether a reasonable person would feel in fear of death. And here it was fear rooted in prejudice, not reality. And that is what the judge said. Your fear was not a reality. That's what you put in your head because you were prejudiced against these kids, okay? Her own statement during interrogation showed intent, not fear. Her statement of, I didn't mean to kill her, right? But she aimed the gun toward the door and pulled the trigger. That's a deliberate act, not a defensive reflex. I didn't mean the killer would have probably said, oh, the gun went off. No, you positioned your hand. You raised your hand with the gun and you pulled the trigger. Who the hell do you think that you was firing at? Huh? Anyway, so again, her own statement showed intent because that's what she did. She says, I didn't mean to hit her. Yeah, well, but you aimed and you pulled the trigger. That's a deliberate act, not a self-defense reflex. The prosecution used her 911 audio, I shot through the door, to show that she fired blindly, not as a reaction to a real threat. She didn't know who she was going to shoot. She don't know if she was going to shoot the son, the mother, or anybody else that could have came over there with them. She didn't know who she was going to shoot. She shot blindly. That's so careless, y'all. Why stand your ground did not work for her in the state of Florida? Well, the state attorney office rejected her self-defense claim because Owens came to her house unarmed. Didn't have nothing in her hand. Just her knuckles. Come out here right now. We're going to talk about this. I'm sick of your shit. Now, I'm not saying that's what she said. I'm assuming right now. Okay? She was unarmed and she never entered Susan's residence. There was no forcible entry, right? Which is a legal requirement under the 776.013. Susan's pattern of harassment showed malice, not fear. The gunshot through the closed door proved she wasn't under no direct attack. She was protected by that damn door. But not just that door, y'all. She could have went into the bathroom and closed the door. That's one door. She could have went in one bedroom and closed the door. That's another door. Then she could have went in the other bedroom and closed the door. The prosecution even said, girl, you could have ducked behind the damn table. You could have shielded yourself behind a table until the police arrived, but you did none of that. You did none of that. And why she didn't do none of that? Because that wasn't her intent, baby. That first 911 call was a CYA call. Let me cover my ass right quick. And then I'm going to do this hoe. Then I'm going to do this bitch. That's what Susan was thinking when she went and grabbed that gun and shot through that door. That's exactly what she was thinking. It was definitely premeditated, but she thought she was smart. That's why she made the 911 call. Frantic, trembling, crying, somewhat crying. I'm in fear of my life. I'm in fear. She thought that 911 call was it, baby. She thought she was going to be able to use that, but she couldn't. Okay? So as a result, the prosecutor charged her with manslaughter with a firearm, right? And culpable negligence, battery, and assault for prior incidents with the children. So they didn't went back and charge her with the prior incidents with the kids. Of all them times she called out there, they realized that she was the terror. They realized that she was the terror, okay? Because they went and gathered all of their body cameras and their write-ups of them having to come out to her house, right? They went and gathered all of that to do their investigation. So the jury later agreed that she did act with culpable negligence, meaning that her conduct showed reckless disregard for human life. Okay? How did Susan abuse the system? In many ways. Let's go over them. Susan, just like a lot of people, I'm going to say that, they call them Karens. They weaponized 911. She repeatedly used law enforcement as her personal security guard. That is not your security guard. The police is for everybody, not just for you. But she used them as her personal security guard, calling the police over and over children instead of resolving conflicts like a neighbor or furthermore, an adult. Her and adults could have literally just got together and said, okay, let's meet in the middle. My real reason for wanting some peace and quiet is because I work from home. This is where I do my work. From these hours to this hours, can they just keep it down a little bit? And then I don't mind them playing in the grass any other time or whatever. She could have compromised with other adults in the neighborhood, but that's not what she wanted. She weaponized 911 as if they were her personal security guard. She literally used to come out there and talk to them as if like they were only for her. She wanted them to punish the children and the other parents for allowing their kids to play near her home. She created a false fear narrative. She painted AJ and AJ family, meaning her kids, as a threat to justify her hostility and later her gunfire. She misused the stand your ground law. She relied on racial bias and fear stereotypes to fit the legal definition of reasonable fear. She literally thought that she was going to beat this. Okay? She used it. She tried to anyway, and it didn't work. It backfired on her ass. Okay? She played the victim. Even after shooting, she told police, I'm the one being harassed. She did that, y'all. She says, I'm the one being harassed. This documentary, The Perfect Neighbor, it exposes this as classic projection, shifting the blame to feel like the real victim. And that's what she tried to do. She tried to portray herself as the victim. I'm the victim in this. I was terrorized, right? I was in my own home. They came around my property where I was renting. They had no rights to be over here. I have a right to be in a neighborhood free of noise, free of yelling and screaming and kids playing. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm 58 years old with all these ailments. I don't want to hear kids screaming and laughing and running around. Why can't their parents police them up? Why can't their parents make them be quiet? I'm the victim here. And that is what she convinced herself. When the judge sentenced her to 25 years, the judge looked at her and said, "Your fear was unfounded and irrational, and the jury's verdict sent a clear signal. Stand your ground is not a license to kill because you're uncomfortable, annoyed, or prejudiced." That is what the judge and the jury said to this lady. Your uncomfortability, you being uncomfortable or annoyed or prejudiced toward other people or even kids, does not give you a right to kill. You cannot reach back and use a law to justify you being uncomfortable, you not liking the noise, you wanting peace and quiet in a neighborhood that you moved into with children. She moved into this neighborhood with kids. Kids was already living in the neighborhood. If she didn't like the noise, she could have left. She was a renter. She could have left. And she even said multiple times that she had intentions on moving. She just never did. She kept saying, "I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving," but she never did because she felt like she had a right to be there. She tried to use the police to try to get rid of them. She wanted them gone, not her. She felt like she belonged there, that they did not. She terrorized those kids. She harassed this family. And then she used a perfect time by telling the kid, "Go get your mama." And when the kid went and got his mama, she took the law in her own hands. And that is why her ass is in prison right now. Mm, mm, mm. Anyway, she threw her life away. But guess what? She doesn't have to worry about the noise no more. She don't have to worry about the kids' noise. She ain't gonna hear that no more. She's not going to hear that no more. So Florida rejected her. Florida said, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. So anyway, she was a very healthy lady, healthy in size, meaning healthy as in big, when she walked in there. But baby, she shriveled up like a little, ooh, child. She's so little now. Look at this lady, y'all. This is her when she walked in. This was her. This is the lady that said she was in fear of her life. This is the lady that said that she thought AJ was going to break her door down and unalive her. Hold on a second. Yeah. So this is the lady that stood on the other side of a door, and it was a metal door. A metal door. This is the lady that stood on the other side of a metal door, said this 35-year-old lady was going to knock her door down and unalive her, that she was going to KI her. Let's pull up a picture of what she looked like now. Hold on a second. Let me show you what Miss Susan looked like today. Well, let me show you what she looked like in court, okay? I'm going to show you what Miss Susan looked like in court. Miss Susan went from a larger, hefty looking woman to this right here. All because she thought the law was on her side. She had talked to, I think she said she talked to friends or whatever, and they told her, "Oh, you're justified because she came on your property." This is what she looked like in court. Again, this is what she looked like on the day of the shooting when she got booked, right? And this is what she looked like in court. This is what she looked like when she sobbed in her hands. When they told her, "You're guilty. You are guilty and you going to jail." She never felt like she deserved to be in jail. Even, I don't know if it'll let me show the interview, but let me just pull it up. I'm going to try. If I got to delete it, I will. Let's look at the interview that she just did not too long ago. If it will allow me. But she literally just did an interview not too long ago. She even looked worse now. Oof. Child, she looks so worse. But anyway, let's get to the interview that she did. I'm sorry. I'm up here looking at her photo. Let me show you. No, I want the after her lockup. Hold on. Let's look at the interview. Where is she? I want y'all to see what this lady literally says. No, seriously. Oh, I spelled her name wrong. I'm sorry. Lorin. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is it. Now I may have to no, I think I might be good on this one. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to her interview today. Or, after her sentencing.
A Florida woman convicted in the 2023 shooting death of her neighbor is speaking out from behind bars. Susan Lorincz claims 35-year-old Ajike Owens was banging on her door when she opened fire. Lorincz told our affiliate WCJB that she had argued with Owens' children for leaving their roller skates on her property. She claims that Owens and the kids had threatened to kill her, saying she was terrified when she shot Owens through the locked door.
I told him that I had hit her. I said she was pounding on my door. She was threatening to kill me, and I shot her. And I knew I shot her because
Let's go back.
I shot her.
Let's go back right quick. I'm gonna let you hear it. This is how she looks. Now, mind you, this killing happened in 2023. Okay? In 2023. And this is how she looks. She was 58. It is 2025. So 2 years later, look at her. This is what happened. This should be a wake-up call to anybody that want to spend their latter years in jail. Baby, you gonna age. You hear me? Anyway, let's go. Let's go back.
I told him that I had hit her. I said she was pounding on my door. She was threatening to kill me, and I shot her. And I knew I shot her because she said, "Ow." And I thought I grazed her somehow. And I couldn't imagine where that shot went. I never even saw the shot. I mean, I was just so terrified. I remember I was shaking, I was crying. It was horrible.
Is Susan Lorincz capable of manslaughter?
No. And I'm just...
The guy, the interviewer asked her, is Susan Lorincz capable of manslaughter? She says no. But yet she said she shot through the door and she thought she grazed her. But mind you, there's no peephole. There's no door like mine where you got glass on both sides. You can see out. She literally shot blindly and said, I thought I grazed her. I thought I grazed her. I didn't know where the bullet went. But then he says, is she capable of manslaughter? No. What? What?
Saw the shot. I mean, I was just so terrified. I remember I was shaking, I was crying. It was horrible.
Is Susan Lorincz capable of manslaughter?
No. And I'm so, it just makes me sick what happened. I just never, ever thought in a million years this would happen. And it breaks my heart. I mean, I don't know. I can't take it back. I can't replace her. I can't say, I did an apology to the family, and I'm still so sorry. And I know her kids are without a mom, and I know that it's been hard on her mom. I know everybody's hurting. I wish I could change things.
Lorincz is serving 25 years for manslaughter.
Yeah. So she's serving 25 years for manslaughter. that she thought that she was going to get away with. She was not remorseful until after the judge slammed the book at her. And to be honest with you, he really didn't slam the book at her, because 25 years, she'll probably get out in 12, right? Or 12 and a half, or however that goes, right? So she didn't even get life. She didn't even get life after she took a life. She didn't get life, right? But she's serving 25 years. I mean, I don't think it's slam the book at, but at the same time, if I got 25 years, that's going to be slam the book at with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want that shit. Let's listen. Wait a minute. Did she say I can't take it? Hold on. Let's listen to this part. Let's listen to what she just said on this one, y'all. She said, I can't take it. What is it that you can't take, girl? It says, I can't take, oh, I can't take it back. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the same thing. She said, I can't take it back. Oh, yeah, we just saw that. I think we just did. Hold on.
Behind bars, Susan Lorincz claims 35-year-old Ajike Owens was banging on her door when she opened fire.
I think it's the same
Lorincz
thing.
told our affiliate WCJB that she had argued with Owens' children
Yeah.
for leaving their roller skates on her property. She claims that Owens and the kids had threatened to kill her, saying she was terrified when she shot Owens through the locked door.
Now, these are the skates. Okay, let's go back.
I told him that.
These are the skates. Hold
I
on.
told
Damn
him
it.
that I had.
Let's go back.
Through the locked door.
These are the skates that she picked up and threw at the kid. She threw these skates at the kid and didn't think mama was supposed to come over. But then gonna say, go get your mama, like she biggity badass. You hear me? Go get your mama. Go get your mama. And then when mama came, right? She says, why did she come to my house? Why was she there? She should not have come to my home. After saying, go get your mama, make it make any sense. Please make it make any sense. Right? She threw these skates. And let me back up just a little bit. Look at all this open space here. This is what she didn't want the kids playing. She didn't want to hear none of that noise over here. She wanted all this to just be peace and quiet, no kids playing. Where all the other neighbors said they did not mind the kids playing out there. They said, we don't care. It's not bothering us. It only bothered Susan. And they said they was playing on the grass before Susan moved in. So can you imagine kids playing in the area before a new tenant comes, and then the tenant come, and all of a sudden now she doesn't want no one playing over there? She don't want them over there. She wanted to throw a monkey wrench in these kids, what they used to doing. And the other neighbors didn't have no problem with it. She was the only one that had a problem with it. That speaks volumes in itself. That she's the only neighbor that had a problem with it. And it doesn't even look like a bad neighborhood. It looked like a very decent neighborhood. You know? Oh my, y'all. My. But anyway, let's I guess I think we just heard all of this. Hold on. Yeah, this is what she said. I wish I could take it back and blah blah. Well, hold on. Let me see.
I just.
Oh yeah, same. Oh, I wish I could take it back. I know it's hard on her mom. I wish I could take it back. Oh, do you? Do you wish you could take it back, or do you wish that your self-defense claim would have stuck? Your stand your ground would have stuck, because that's what I see. That's what I'm hearing. You know, I'm hearing, I wish that my stand your ground would have stuck. This is what happened when she finds out that she was this right here shows when she found out that she's about to do 25 years. This is what be killing me right here, is when they really think that they about to get away with something right quick, right? Listen to this.
Told her Ocala neighbor will serve 25 years in prison. Susan Lorincz was arrested in June of 2023 in the shooting death of 35-year-old Ajike Owens.
News 6's Catherine Silver heard from the victim's family as that sentence came down.
Susan Lorincz spent 10 minutes talking about the trauma in her life and how she was terrified that night before.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you. She even tried to tell the courts that she was raped. That she was raped as at a younger age, you know, like a younger adult. So she had trauma, PTSD, all of this because she was raped and whole bunch of other stuff happened to her. So she's saying that contributes to her not having no emotions and no empathy toward the children in the beginning. Her being raped, you know, took away all her emotions, is what she's saying.
She read a 2-minute statement apologizing to Ajike Owens' children and family. Lorincz broke down into tears immediately after she finished speaking. It was.
Look at this. She broke down after she realized it don't matter what you say. No matter what you say. Look at her. Look at her. No matter what she say at this point, it don't matter what she say. She going behind them clink clinks. This when reality sits in for these people. You hear me? This is when reality sits in. It don't sit in when they're sitting in the interrogation room. It doesn't sit in when they are lying and trying to act like they are in fear of their life. It don't sit in then. It doesn't sit in trying to play the victim. It sits in when she realized ain't nobody buying her bullshit. That's when reality sits in. Ain't nobody, not now one of those jurors, the judge, the detectives, the DA, the prosecution, nobody, the neighbors, nobody, the kids, nobody. Ain't nobody buying my bullshit. This is when reality sits in. Yeah, this is when it sits in, right?
Tears immediately after she finished speaking. It was an emotional hearing for everyone in the courtroom. The neighborhood feud between Owens and Lorincz was well documented, and after a confrontation between their children who were playing outside, the dispute turned deadly.
And I didn't even tell y'all that she used to film the children, literally take photos and video footage of other people's kids in her neighborhood. Literally used to film the kids.
The dispute turned deadly. Lorincz shot and killed Ajike Owens through a locked front door.
Look at that door.
Owens' mother's.
Look at that door. No peephole, no window, no screen. She literally just fired blindly through a metal door. Through a metal door. Boom. Didn't know who she was going to hit. She could have hit the mailman, the delivery driver. She could have hit anybody. She didn't give a damn. A disregard of human life. Disregard of human life. She literally shot through a door that she didn't know who, or she knew who was on the other side, but she didn't know who she was going to hit. You hear me?
Owens' mother says she felt like she could finally exhale once the judge announced the sentence. Right after the hearing, she spoke about the grief and the trauma her 4 grandchildren live with without their mother.
When this all happened, they were 3, 7, 9, and 12. Very young to even understand. The
7, 9, and 12. And I think the other one was an infant. So 7, 9, and 12. And like I said, the other one was like some months old or something, like it was like an infant.
Gravity of what has happened, the long-term effects of what has happened. They're living in the right now. And right now, they don't have a mother.
I so wish I could go back and change things so that she was still here. I would trade my life so that she could be here.
When the judge read his sentence, he said this shooting never needed to happen. And he believes that Susan Lorincz acted more out of anger than out of fear. He gave her a 25-year sentence. The maximum she could have faced was 30. Owens' family says it is still considerable, and they are pleased. In Ocala, I'm Catherine Silver, getting results, News 6.
So she could have got 30 years. That's the max. And he gave her 25. So if the max was 30 and he gave her 25, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. He didn't max her all the way out. But out of 25 out of 30, yeah, he pushed that. Yeah, she felt that. She absolutely felt that. So again, 25 years, she sobbed, cried, did all that shit or whatever, trying to pretend that she was the victim, and it just didn't work. It just did not work. This was a sad case, very, very sad case. And just to, if you go back and watch the documentary, just look at her mannerism while she's in it. The interrogations, if you don't even watch the whole documentary, if you just go back and watch the interrogations, because there are on, I think, Court TV or either Court TV or Law, one of them. I want to say Court TV but anyway, go back and watch the interrogations. If you don't watch the movie, if you don't watch the documentary, watch the interrogation. The lady was so entitled. I'm talking about so entitled. Like, oh my God, it was disgusting. She literally did not think that she belonged there. Yeah, Law and Crime. It's either Law and Crime or Court TV, one of them. But she literally did not believe that she belonged there. Now, I'm not going to show all of this. I want to just show y'all just this part. And again, I may have to cut it out. But I want y'all to hear this lady say, no, she ain't going nowhere. I want y'all to see this. Hold on one second. Is it gonna allow me to show it? Let me see if it's gonna. Okay, yeah. I want y'all to see this. Is it music? Hold on. Oh yeah. Hold on. Let's go back. Hold on. I want y'all to see it, so I'm gonna have to go back. She up here talking about she can't do this. Girl, who get arrested and say I can't do this? Let's go back right quick. Okay.
Okay, but you understand that you're under arrest and you're gonna be taken to the jail one way or another, okay?
I don't care.
Susan?
I just can't do this. I'm sorry.
Florida woman who shot an unarmed black mom.
She says, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I just can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm sorry. You see how she's clenching her chest? She literally sat in that chair and told the officers, I can't do this. No, I'm sorry. I can't. I cannot go with you. I'm not going to jail. Kill me now. I can't. I can't. Look at her.
Can't believe she's going to jail. She would later be sentenced to 25 years in prison after claiming self-defense.
Okay, well, we're gonna go to the jail. There's no changing this. There's no stopping it.
You just stand up for me.
No.
So what do you plan on sitting here the rest of the night?
I don't know when I'm going to die of a heart attack.
She said, I'm probably just going to sit here and die of a heart attack. He says, do you plan on just sitting there for the rest of the night? She says, you know what? I'm probably going to die of a heart attack. I'm probably just going to die of a heart attack.
Quicker, someone over there that's in medical can see you.
Susan, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna put you in handcuffs, and if we have to forcefully bring you out there, that's what we have to do, because we're obligated
Really don't want
to take you to the jail now, okay?
Thank you for standing up.
I understand that.
So, trains on your back for me.
And then they're thanking her for standing up. Where they do that at? Where they thank you for standing up? Thank you for cooperating. Where they do that at?
Didn't do this on this wasn't a purposeful act. I did not premeditate it.
And then she's getting handcuffed saying, this is ridiculous. She literally says, this is ridiculous. I did not premeditate. I did not do this. I did not premeditate. She's standing up getting handcuffed saying, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, is what she said.
This is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
I can't do this.
Okay, but you understand that you're under arrest, and you're gonna be taken to the jail one way or another, okay?
I don't care.
Susan?
She says, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I can't do this. I don't care.
I just can't do this. I'm sorry.
Florida woman who shot an unarmed black mom of 4 can't believe she's going to jail. She would later be sentenced to 25 years in prison after claiming self-defense.
Okay, well, we're gonna go to the jail. There's no changing this. There's no stopping it.
You just stand up for me.
No.
So what do you plan on sitting here the rest of the night?
I don't know when I'm going to die of a heart attack.
Quicker, someone over there that's in medical can see you.
Susan, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna put you in handcuffs, and if we have to forcefully bring you out there, that's what we have to do, because we're obligated
Really don't want
to take you to the jail now, okay?
Thank you.
And they even said, I really don't want to do this. I really don't. The cop said, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do
For
this.
standing up.
I
And then, thank you for standing up.
understand that.
So, Translate your back for me.
Didn't do this on this was.
Then she says, I didn't do this on purpose. This wasn't a purposeful act. I didn't do this on purpose. I did not do this on purpose. This was not a purposeful act. And then says, this is ridiculous.
I did not premeditate it. I didn't do anything like that. This is ridiculous. I can't.
This is ridiculous. She said, this is ridiculous. I did not premeditate. I did not do this purposefully. So anyway, y'all, this is the story of Susan Lorincz and AJ, and I think her name is Ajike or Ajike Owens. So this is a real life story that happened in Ocala, Florida. You have to know your laws, and just to hear she was arguing with the kids, that just blows me, because why in the world are you arguing with kids when they have mothers, when they have parents? Why are you arguing with these kids? You know? Something had to be off with this lady. She literally argued with these kids and their parents for 2 years. At some point, somebody got to move or get tired. She said, I watched the documentary. This woman is human garbage. I was relieved that she was convicted. Oh, yeah, she wasn't getting out of it, but she thought she was. This lady literally, and that's the irony of it, though. I think that's what makes this story so important, because in Florida, the stand your ground law, they do excuse people for certain things. This lady literally thought Florida was behind her. Did she have family? Yes, she didn't have no children, but she did have family that testified on her behalf about how she used to tell them about how she argued with the black lady across the street all the time. I don't think their testimonies help, to be honest with you. Your family members know that you argue with a black woman across the street. That don't sound too great, right? Why does your family members know that you're constantly getting into it with a black lady across the street? Why they don't know that you're just getting into it with neighbors because they're kids or whatever? But they knew that she was getting into it with the black lady across the street. I don't think that helped her case, you know? But anyway, she said, I watched the movie and cried the whole movie. I didn't cry the whole movie, but baby, when I tell you, when the daddy showed up and had to tell those children, first of all, when the law enforcement told the daddy, that made me feel away. I got it very emotional because, no one wants to hear that type of news. I don't care if you broke up or not. A woman that you had children with, you don't want to hear that they're not here anymore, right? And then the daddy had to say, your mama not coming back no more. And those kids, and the fact of the matter is, it wasn't just her kids crying. It was other kids in the neighborhood. That showed you just how close the neighborhood was. The other kids was crying and telling the other kids, sorry for your loss. Those kids had way more compassion than this lady. This lady wasn't crying. Those children were. Even the mother of some of those other kids, she was a white lady. She was crying. I wish I can show y'all that picture. Hold on 1 second. Let me show you. I want to show you. Let me show you the other lady. She was a white lady. Let me see if I can pull it up. She was mad at the cops and everything. Hold on. I can't remember what they said her name was, but I don't see it right here. But if you see the documentary, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, here, right here. This lady, let me see if it's any video footage or is it just her photo? It's just her photo. I wish I could let y'all hear, but this lady was mad. Let me see. Give me a second. I might be able to pull something up. What was her name? But anyway, let me just show you a photo of her. She was pissed. pissed at the cops. She was like, why haven't there been an arrest? I want to know why this lady is not arrested. The neighborhood loved AJ. It was just, and no one called the police. And that's another thing. If the kids are such hell raisers in the neighborhood, then why didn't anybody else call the police on the children? Why only this lady called the police? But here was another white lady in the neighborhood that actually was in the defense of AJ, and she was mad at the cops. Like, why isn't this lady in jail? Like, why isn't she locked up? You know? And she knocked on, and that's the thing. She didn't went and knocked on Susan's door before and told her, stop effing with my kids, stop talking to my kids, stop cussing my kids out. She didn't shoot this lady. Susan didn't shoot this lady, but she shot at the black lady. Because this lady gave her the business. You hear me? This lady cussed Susan out multiple times. She said even the adult neighbors were crying. Yeah, they were crying. The adult neighbors were crying. The kid neighbors were crying. The whole neighborhood pulled through for AJ. And they were consoling each other. It was just one big community consoling each other. And the only person was her. That they were all, you know, she was the villain, Susan was, and everybody was for AJ. She said, I followed it when it was going on. I was deep into it, but for some reason, I'm hesitating on watching it. I know I'm going to cry. Yeah, you probably are going to cry, Tamara, on parts of it. She said, I was hesitant too. I was more angry until the children found out their mom was unalive. Ooh. She said, how you 58 arguing with kids? Exactly. That's why I said I wouldn't do it on my platform, because when you think about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? She said reality sunk in real. Oh, yeah, when she felt she was getting off. Yeah, reality sunk in. Sure did. And now she looked like a whole mess. And now, you know, but I think the main reason why this was important, because this showed some people in Florida that you're not going to be able to use this. This is not going to be able to save you. Oh, look at her lawyer. OMG, look at her lawyer. And I know lawyers do what they have to do for their client. I get it, right? But baby, the level of consoling he was doing to her. Hold on, let the I think is a ad skip.
Well, out of Florida, and the sentence handed down after a dispute between neighbors turned deadly. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
This morning, the Florida woman accused of fatally shooting her neighbor through her front door has been sentenced to 25 years in prison.
This shooting, this killing, this death of a mother, a daughter.
This is the grandmother. This is AJ's biological mother.
A friend should have never happened. But we got justice today.
Susan Lorincz was convicted of first-degree manslaughter in the death of Ajike Owens, a mother of 4 who was shot in front of one of her.
Oh, it's Ajike. I'm sorry, y'all. I think I bashed her name and said Ajike. But it's Ajike Owens, AJ.
Kids.
I'm so sorry that I took AJ's life. He never intended to kill her.
Prosecutors said the ongoing dispute stemmed from Owens' children playing outside when Lorincz allegedly called them racial slurs. Owens responded by knocking on Lorinc's door, then came the gunfire.
Miss Lorincz was behind the door. The door was locked. She had already called law enforcement. They were en route.
Her lawyers argued Lorincz, who denied calling the children slurs, opened fire through the locked door because she felt threatened.
Susan's apology was a last-ditch attempt to save herself. It wasn't sincere. She never showed remorse.
Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
Oh, I thought y'all was
The trial tested Florida State.
Listen.
Major ground law, which allows deadly force in self-defense in certain situations.
And see what he just said. That trial tested their stand your ground law. That's why this is so important, because the trial tested the stand your ground. Because a lot of people think that if they say if they claim stand your ground, that they're going to get off. Why? Because of that Zimmerman case. But this actually tested it and showed that the stand your ground ain't working for everybody. It's another case that I think I covered on here. I don't actually remember now, but it was a guy and it was some kids. I want to say the guy last name was Davis, and he had driven up with loud music, right? And it was a white man that did not like the loud music. So he said, "Turn your music down," or something like that. And the guys in the car, the young fellas in the car, got rude with the guy and didn't turn their music down or something like that. And the guy literally fired off rounds in the car, hitting and killing one of the fellas in the car. I want to say his last name was Davis, I think. But anyway, he tried to use the stand your ground law as well. And guess what? He lost. He lost. And his fiance actually came back and testified against him because she couldn't believe what he did as well. Yes, it happened at a gas station. He thought and when he fired, he tried to say to stand your ground. He literally said he fired and ran off, thinking that those black kids were going to KI him, all because of loud music. Okay? Loud music. I don't know what it is about the noise that they feel they don't want to hear from black people, these racist people. They don't want to hear, it's almost like they don't like hearing black people enjoy themselves, have fun, laugh, dance, whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody is not like that, but you got some few. You got a handful of people like this that actually think this way. They feel they don't want to hear a peep from you. If you live around them or whatever, you're supposed to be quiet. You're not supposed to be seen, I guess, right? She said, "Oh yeah, he said they pulled out a stick. LOL, dumbass." Yes. So his dumbass, I can't remember his name, but his dumbass, yeah, Jordan was his first name. Or was it Jordan Davis? I want to say, I can't remember if I did this story on here, Jordan Davis. But this man, hold on. He thought that he was going to be able to beat the system as well. Oh yeah, here he is. This is the guy, and this is the young fella that he thought that he can unalive. This is it. Hold on. Oh, sorry. He thought that he can this is the guy. He 49 years old. Michael Dunn was his name. Michael Dunn. He shot and fatally shot a 17-year-old boy for loud music. For loud rap music. Rap music that he didn't want to hear. He didn't want to hear the rap music. Turn your rap music down. He didn't want to hear it. And because he didn't want to hear it, and the boys got smart with him, so he fired in the car and then drove off. The dude ordered a pizza and ate it. After just gunning down someone, he ordered a pizza and ate it. The irony, ordered a pizza and ate it. Yep. So anyway, woo, child. All right. So that's it, y'all. I thank y'all so much for showing up for this. But yeah, I would say the documentary is definitely worth watching. And yeah, just, don't think that you are above the law. Don't think that you're going to be able to outsmart the law, you know? And if anybody want to sit and say, "See, this is going to happen in the Ramika case," honey, baby, don't do that. This is totally different. Totally, totally, totally different, right? Totally different. Apples and oranges. And his wife told the truth. I think it was his fiance, but yes, she told the truth. Absolutely told the truth. She said, "I think he got life." He got, let me see how long he got. Oh, they say he fired 10 times in the car. He know his ass should have been straight to jail. They shouldn't even had a trial. That joker fired 10 times in the car. Let me see how long he got. Sentence. Oh, Lord. That joker got life plus 90 years. God damn. He got beyond life. That joker got life plus 90 years. Gee, how you getting life plus 90? How in the world you get life plus 90? It says life imprisonment without the possibility of parole plus 90 years. How the hell put life without the possibility of parole plus 90 years? I think the judge was just mad. The judge was just mad. But yeah, he got life plus 90 years. That's crazy. At least he don't gotta worry about rap music no more. Exactly. And guess what? Just like Susan ain't gotta worry about them kids laughing and yelling and running around in the neighborhood no more. Susan ain't gotta worry about, well, unfortunately, those kids are not over there no more, but it's other kids over there. They don't, Susan ain't gonna never hear them no more, and they ain't gotta worry about nobody calling the police on them no more. I bet those kids that's left in the neighborhood get to play football and run around. I hope the mother is allowing them to still go and play with their friends every now and again. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they were bonding and developing good friendships in that neighborhood. The mother said that she had to move. I hope she moved down to that area and allowed the kids to continue to play. You know? So she said, I hope they filed a civil suit so any money she makes off this story will go to AJ's family. Yeah, I don't know if she'll make any money off of this, but because I don't know how that works. But I'm with you on that. Hope it goes to the children. So anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for coming to hear this story. I know a lot of people was asking me to break it down, and I did. And yeah, it's kind of a sad story, you guys. But thank y'all for meeting my goal. I appreciate you guys. I know I saw it, but I didn't want to break my concentration, so please forgive me. But thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Juanette, Barbara King. She said, hey, Amoira, my sister has cancer, doesn't have long praying. She makes it to see her 65th birthday. Oh, Lord. Oh, her birthday on the same day as mine, October the 28th. Oh, that's right around the corner. She'll make it. She'll make it, Barbara. Thank you, Janice, Kibo, Inga, Carmelita. Now, my neighbor kids be playing in our basketball goal. The problem I have is when they was playing at 12 o'clock midnight, but I don't care. My kids grown now. Oh, okay. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Brown Sugar. Great live journalism and blogging at its finest. Thank you, Brown Sugar. Thank you, Binky Bink. Thank you, Luck. Great breakdown per usual. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Young Beat 666. Thank you so much. Her excuses doesn't make sense. If she's screaming, she's afraid for her life. Why would the police not show up? Exactly. That lady couldn't even wait longer than 2 minutes. That was premeditated. Can't nobody tell me that it wasn't premeditated. 2 minutes? 2 minutes? Yeah, no, she thought that she was going to get away with that. Thank you, Vanita, and thank you, New Day. Awesome live content, baby. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you guys so much. Janice Brown says, I made it. So happy to talk about this documentary. It made me so emotional. Yes, it did. It did. So thank y'all for helping me meet my goal. Let me go ahead and thank y'all. We reached the goal, baby. We did. We reached our goal. Thank you so much. One more time. And let's clap it out. Let's clap it out. Thank y'all so much. I do appreciate you guys pointing to any live stream that I do, So I thank y'all so much. So we're gonna end here, you guys, for this story, unless y'all have any questions or commentary. But I still say it is a good watch, even since this breakdown, I think that you should still go watch it. She said, Amoira, your gift is in the mailbox. Oh, thank you, honey. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. She said that lady was going off on the cop, said she moved from the neighborhood 2 months ago. Oh, she left the neighborhood? Oh, so she left the neighborhood. She says, I love when my kids were young and would have friends over. I love kids laughing, their joy. I miss the sound of kids. Listen, my neighborhood was the house for the kids as well. I wish I still had that photo. I don't know what I did with it, but it was right in front of our yard where the kids would go. Let me see if I can find it right quick. But it was literally, let me see, Shutterfly. I don't know if I have it on here, but I'm going to look. But it was literally in front of our yard. That's where the hangout spot was. But now, mind you, I was a younger mom. You know what I'm saying? As you age, things do change. You probably don't like the noise as much. But I say if you are one of those people that don't like a lot of kids in the neighborhood and don't like the noise, then don't move in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids. They have neighborhoods that limits the amount of children that can be there on a full-time basis. It's called like active adult communities. I think they limit the amount of kids. I actually don't know if that's law, but I know that a lot of kids don't live in those type neighborhoods because they look at it like, oh, this is like an older people neighborhood. But again, I don't know if that's law with what I just said that limits the kids being there. It's like a 55 older community, but I think if I'm not mistaken that they have some type of guidelines in there about kids. So if you are one of those people, just don't move in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids. Don't do it. And the kids were there first. So let me see if I can find this photo. It's a long time ago, but I just kind of want to show y'all how our neighborhood, how the kids. Now, again, I was going to say I was a young mom, so it didn't bother me. I had my child at 18. So, hearing him outside with his friends, the fact that I could have eyes on him, I was able to see him, that made me happy. You know what I'm saying? I knew where my son was in the yard. And all the other kids was in the yard. So I was happy about that. That actually, it warmed my soul that, my son didn't gravitate to somebody else's house to hang out at. They all came to our house. Yep, they tore my grass up and all that, but I didn't care. I ain't care nothing about no grass back then and there. My kids were safe. Actually, it was just my son at the time because my daughter wasn't even born. So I got too many pictures to go through, so I won't be able to show it to y'all. But because I don't even know if it's actually in here, but I wish it was. Let me see if I can search. Let me just see if I can search. I wouldn't even know what to look for, but yeah, I don't know if this photo in here, but I would love to have shown it to y'all just to let y'all know that my son and his friends, they literally was out in the front grass. They had my grass looking a hot mess, but I did not care, baby. They played in the yard, child, all of them. And I loved it. Yes, I did. So anyway, but that's it, y'all. We about to get off of here. Look, as I'm still looking for this photo. As I'm still looking for this photo. Ooh, I wish I could show y'all this photo, but nevertheless. But who else's house was the playhouse? Did any of y'all make y'all house the playhouse? Where all the kids came over to y'all house? Or did y'all say, y'all better get these kids from around here? My house was the playhouse, baby. Yeah, I can't find this photo. I wish I did have it. Or I wish I could just know how to pull it up. She said, me, oh, your house was the playhouse. All the kids came to your house. My friends, when we were in our 30s, applied to a lady room for rent, and the lady that she got to do it because she was with her, the HOA denied, had to be 55 and up. Oh, but I'm gonna show you this. You remember how I just said that my house was the playhouse? Now this is not my son, but this is my house and this is my daughter. Let me show y'all this one. And guess where they at? In front of our house. This is her friends in front of our house, right? This is my daughter and her friends, and where are they? On our steps. So even though I may not be able to find, oh, that's my daughter, let's go the other way. Even though I may not be able to find the photo, look at them. This is our house. They came over because I didn't even let my daughter spend the night. I told y'all about that little incident that happened with her friend. Look at them holding my daughter. But this is at our house, baby. You hear me? Our house. Her friends had to come over. My daughter was not allowed to do them sleepovers and shit. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No ham. No, ma'am. No ham. No, ma'am. No ham. Guess where they at? In our yard. Just like how my son and his friends played where? In our yard. I ain't care nothing about no grass. Play. That's where you need to play. That's where you need to be. I can see you. You hear me? I can see you. That was more important to me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to show y'all that. Look at these girls. I think they was trying to play Charlie Angels. Now that I look back on it, I think they were really trying to play Charlie Angels. But whatever they was trying to play, they were at my house, posing, taking pictures, doing whatever. I love it. Look at them. Anyway, but I couldn't find a picture of my son, but I have one just like that where my son is out in the front yard with his little male friends and they were posing and having fun playing football in my yard. She said, my kids never stayed the night over a friend's house. Girl, she was bullying little kids when playing victim. Yes, she was really bullying kids. What 58-year-old woman is arguing with kids? How can you even tell the prosecutor that? I was arguing back and forth with the kids. Like, how can that you even form that in your mouth to say that you was arguing with children? This lady said them kids was 3, 7, and 9. 3, 7, and 9. She said, it's the house for me. Well, y'all know how it is. You know your girl. You know your girl. You know your girl. You know your girl. But 3, 7, and 9. How you arguing with 3, 7, and 9-year-olds? Look at this. Look at this. Who wouldn't want to hear noise and screaming and yelling and kids laughing and having fun? Who don't want to hear that? Who don't want to hear kids enjoying themselves and being children? Who don't want to hear that? Yeah, no, I guarantee you she in prison talking, oh, what I would give to hear those kids laughing and running and playing and jumping and having a good old time. What I wouldn't give for that noise. Oh, yeah. And I guarantee you, Michael Dunn, the same way. I guarantee you he's praying and wishing, and well, not now, but I guarantee you he wishing that he would have allowed or been able to just stand that rap music. I bet he wish he can listen to some rap music now too. You understand what I'm saying? But they don't think about that until after the fact. That reality hits in. But I honestly do believe that this lady did this premeditated because she thought she was going to get away with it. Clearly, that's it. That's all. She thought that she was going to get away with it. And I'm glad the stand your ground law showed her otherwise. I'm glad the law, because a lot of people don't like that law. But I'm glad that law came back and said, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be able to do that. We're not going to support you on this. Right? Well, let me just show y'all. This is the house. Yeah, this was the backyard, but this was the house. We used to live there when I was stationed in Fayetteville. This was our ride around driveway. You know what I mean? Circular driveway. I love that. I love that. Oh, I loved it. But anyway, but yeah. So and this was our house, our home. We owned it and sold it. But anyway, this ain't what this live about. But I'm about to get off, you guys. But thank y'all for pulling up. She says now she was building a paper trail to get away with the red one. Yeah. She was building a paper trail. That's why she kept calling and kept calling and kept calling. I actually believe that she was probably talking to someone, right? And they were telling her that just keep calling, just keep calling, just keep on, just keep tracking it, keep calling the police, just keep calling the police. You know what I'm saying? I believe that somebody was telling her that. You know what I mean? Because, she knew the worst. And then she looked up Staniel. Oh, Lord, how do you think that the cops are not going to figure that out? How you think the cops are not going to look and see that you researched Stand Your Ground? You literally looked up Stand Your Ground. I'm just bad. I'm here looking at these photos, and this is another photo of my daughter with her friends in our home. Baby, please, more than play. More than play. More did not play. That's what the kids were. You want to come visit my daughter? You come over her house. You come over here. This is her and her friends at our home. Stop playing. Stop playing. Okay. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all so very much for showing up. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out, and we would talk to each other. Or more, will you talk about the Evelyn Carter, the 59-year-old from Houston that met the guy on Tinder? Is this a news story? Let me see. Evelyn Carter from Houston? Hold on. Did I say her name wrong? EVELYNCARTER. Hold on. I don't see it. Is it new or old? Evelyn Carter met a guy on Tinder. Oh, let me see. Is this an old? Hold on. She thought she found love.
We have come to the point.
It says she thought she found love. All right, I'll take a look at it. Ooh. I'll take a look at it. I hadn't heard of that. All right, I'll take a look at it. Thank you. I'll take a look at it. But I love y'all. Y'all hit that thumbs up button on the way out, and I am going to talk to you guys later. Love y'all. Bye.
Because they can't make $1 without mentioning down one of our names.
Yay! She kept talking about that family.
Hoes over there.
She kept talking about that family. 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 That family. She kept talking about that family. Talking about that family.
These motherfuckers don't be wanting to listen. Because they can't make $1 without mentioning down one of our